Manchester United 0, Bayern Munich 1. We are out of Europe completely. No Europa League, no Champions League. Disastrous campaign in Europe. Just adds to the season once again. It's tough. It's tough to swallow. I mean, we all know we're not having a good season. We all know we're not as good as we want to be, but it's hard to look at that team and just take it. I mean, we did so well last season to get back into the Champions League. We fought, and it's just been completely wiped away this season. And there's so many questions, and it's like we have almost no answers. I mean, we have some answers, but it's 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 just very very disappointing, especially for me because I really backed this manager. I really believed in his philosophy. I believed in his style of play, and the style of play last year, I thought it looked pretty good, and I was in the mindset of he can build on this, and it's gonna take a step forward, and it's gonna look better, and that's gone completely out of the window. And he has to take his criticism. He is at fault for a numerous amount of things. He is at fault for a numerous amount of things this season. And so is everybody else at the club. The players are at fault. The Glazers are at fault. Richard Arnold is at fault. John Murta is at fault. All these people all have some type of blood on their hands for sure. And I know a lot of Manchester United fans are very, very upset right now. I know a lot of Manchester United fans want him sacked. I think more people want him sacked now. And the only thing I will continue to push back on is I know it's ugly. I know it's not looking great. And I know this club, no matter how bad of a position we are in, we have standards, and we believe in those standards, and we hold those standards as Manchester United fans. But as much as a piece of me says, you can't be a Manchester United manager and have it this bad. Unfortunately, because the club is run, we are in a completely screwed position. They cannot sack this guy because this club doesn't know how to operate. They sacked Ten Hag. They don't have a proper replacement. There's nobody that's actually going to come in. And we've seen it multiple times already. You sack a manager halfway through the season. They don't buy anybody in January. We get some type of a temporary manager. There's no plan. It takes months. And they basically, if we sack Eric Ten Hag, write the rest of the season off. I mean, yeah, it's a disgrace, really, the European performance that we did, but there is still something to fight for in the Premier League. They can still fight to make fourth, to still make Champions League. And I think if you sack Eric Ten Hag today, I think that's writing the season off, and I think it's a mistake. Now, I don't know what's going to happen going forward, but in my personal opinion, he has to go. He has to make it to the end of the season. It has to be kept towards the end of the season. At least let him stay until it's mathematically impossible to not make top four, if that's a thing. By that time, obviously, Sir Jim Ratcliffe should be in charge, and he should be well into his process. Him and his people should be well into their process of making the football changes at the club that has been needed for numerous amount of years now since Sir Alex left. But yeah, I think that's the only real option we have because I don't think it's logical to sack this guy. Even though I'm not even gonna argue with the people that say that he should be sacked. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be deserved, but I think there's just no actual plan when you sack him. There's no viable replacement. Man, this club, even if you have a viable replacement in your head, even if you say I would get this guy, Manchester United are not going to get that guy, and they right now do not have an idea of what to do if they sacked him today, what they're going to do tomorrow. So therefore, I know the season's bad, but if you sack Ten Hag today, the season will get worse. 100% will get worse. 100%. Or you know what? To be even more fair, it won't even be the season will get worse. It'll just be the direction of the club because if Sir Jim is coming in and he's taking sporting control, and he's the guy and he's hiring a new CEO and he's getting a director of football, and they sack this manager, they would have to bring in somebody temporary. I don't believe that they have an idea of who they're gonna bring in temporarily. And the last time we bring in two temporary people, right? Ali was supposed to be temporary. He did good in the beginning. They ended up giving him the job, and we all know how that ended. The other person was Ralph Ranić. The players played for him for 30 minutes, and they basically told him he could go F himself. So I think it's a huge gamble to sack him and bring in somebody, and you have absolutely no clue if the players are going to respond, if the players are going to play for this guy, especially if they say this guy is just temporary because Sir Jim and his people are going to hire a new manager. Why would they care? The players are gonna look at it just like us and then be like, the season's been written off. They're not getting anybody in January for this guy. So I don't think we can do that really. But on the match, I guess the disappointing thing is we didn't lose. We didn't get kicked out of Europe because we lost today. I mean, technically we did, but we 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 got kicked out because of how we performed in all the other matches. And that's probably the most disappointing part because we didn't do enough today to score. It wasn't enough. I never really. I was more hoping somehow we get a goal, but I never really felt like we were going to get that goal. And I also felt like, if Bayern were to score, that it would be done because, there's no way we were going to score two. I was really questioning if we were going to score one, and we didn't. But in terms of structure, in terms of just fighting on the pitch and playing as a unit and playing as a team, they did their job today, and it makes it more frustrating because it's like this is what we actually demand of the players, but it's not even the demand. This is what they are supposed to do. It is an expectation, but it is an expectation built into the history of this club. Those should be standard performances. And that's what's the most frustrating thing because they'll go out against a team like Bayern Munich and do it, but then they play Bournemouth at home and they look like they've never played a fucking football match before. And so That's why I listed all those people in the beginning that I said everybody has blood on their hands. I mean, Eric Ten Hag, listen, no manager is perfect. I remember, when I was younger, when Ferguson was there, Ferguson is the GOAT. But I question Ferguson all the time. Why is he playing this guy here? Why is he playing that guy here? I don't like that he picked that guy. I mean, it's the same for Ten Hag. I don't understand why he's going with this McTominay thing. That midfield doesn't work. I think we're hurting because we're missing Casemiro, but there are other options. And I'll say it. I said it once, and I'm going to say it again. And I'll keep saying it until something's changed. Kobe Mainu, a kid, a teenager, offers 2 to 3 times what Scott McTominay offers as a midfielder. As a midfielder. Not some guy that we're just sending up into the box and hoping. I mean, it's the one thing I don't understand. It's the one thing I don't understand. We're playing Scott McTominay so this guy can get an opportunity in and around the box. How about we give our striker, right? How about we give our striker the ball to score the opportunities that he's putting McTominay there for? This is what I don't understand about it, because playing McTominay, he doesn't do enough as a midfielder. You're then sending him into the box. Bruno Fernandes is Bruno Fernandes. He, in my opinion, will always be a cam. He is an attacking midfielder. He plays like an attacking midfielder, even if you put him as a 6 or whatever, in the center mid role. He still plays like a cam, and I think you're taking away from Bruno's game, playing him, trying to tell him to play deeper and play almost box to box ish, right? Because that's how he's playing. And I think it's nonsense, and I think Ten Hag has to stop that. I think he has to stop it, because it's not helping him, and it's realistically it's not helping the team, and he needs to realize this. So I give him blame for that. And another thing is, listen, I don't actually know what happened with the goalkeeping situation. But if he went out of his way and told them to pull David De Gea's contract offer so I can go sign this goalkeeper for 50 million, well, it's been a big mistake, and it's cost us Champions League. I wanted De Gea to stay for one more season. I did agree De Gea was shit with his feet, and he can't play out of the back. And we were trying to play out of the back. But we're not good at playing out of the back. We struggle. We're not used to it. A lot of those players are not used to it. And I don't think they know how to do it. I don't think they can learn how to do it, because they've never done it for basically their whole careers. The only really one or two would be Varane, because he has experience. You're talking about Champions League winner, played for one of the best teams in the world, Real Madrid. And Lisandro Martinez, I think he's very capable, because he was at one point a CDM. He was also a left back, and he has the ability to carry the ball out of the back. He has the ability to make passes, but we don't have him available. And it's I think it's a very important thing to focus on. This is that Bayern Munich, Kim Min-jae was absolutely fantastic, and so was Upamecano. But the point is, Eric Ten Hag wanted Kim Min-jae, a player that he tried to sell, who has turned his career or his form around at Manchester United and was our best. I mean, he was player of the month in the Premier League, but our best, you could probably say arguably our best player for at least the past month, definitely our best defender, gets injured, and who comes on? Johnny Evans. And this is why it's hard for me to fully criticize Eric Ten Hag on this because something with the transfer planning went wrong. Went wrong because the first player that we were linked to was Kim Min Jae. They blew that deal because they wanted to wait for a release clause that would have been activated, and Bayern came, made him an offer, and obviously he's going to go to Bayern Munich because Bayern Munich is Bayern Munich, and why wouldn't you go to them? What are you going to do? Sit around and wait for Manchester United, who haven't won anything? If Bayern comes for you, obviously, if you're smart enough, you're going to go to Bayern if you have ambition to win things because they're more stable, and they win more than we have in the past 10 years. So he loses that guy. It then quickly shifts to Mason Mount. There was talks about striker and center defensive mids. But then we also he was still trying to get a center back. And I personally think somewhere along the line he got screwed because he wanted the goalie to play the ball playing goalkeeper, and he wanted another center back that's able to play in that style of playing out of the back. He got the goalkeeper because the goalkeeper was available and it was an easy deal to do. And we got it done fairly quick enough. But the whole thing on the center back was an absolute mystery. I mean, they got him a guy that's 36 years old, was literally out of his own mouth, words said that he was thinking about retiring until Manchester United asked him to come there. And clearly Eric Ten Hag took him because he needed another center back, and we're seeing why, because he's playing and we have injuries. Martinez has been out, Maguire is now injured, Lindelof was injured and wasn't fully fit. Thank God Varane is back, and Lindelof should be back at the end of this week because we'd be looking at another defense crisis right now. Because Maguire would be injured, if Varane was still injured, and Martinez would be injured, we'd be totally screwed. What are we playing? Lindelof and Johnny Evans, and we have no backup? Well, what if one of them get injured? Who are we putting back there? Amrabat? Come on, it's a disaster, dude. It's a disaster. So everybody at this club right now, Ten Hag is making mistakes. He deserves blame. Things are very bad, and I get people are going to say that he should be sacked or whatever, but still, again, I still hold the belief, bring in any manager you want, and it might change because we're supposed to be changing stuff at the club, right? But under this current structure and the way things are running, without removing any of those people, if you bring in any manager, they will fail. 2 years guaranteed, 2 to 3 years, they will fail and they will get sacked. So it's the stance that I hold is he has to stay. He has to try and improve. I think he deserves at least that much. We're out of Europe, so it's already over. And there's still a lot of games to be played in the Premier League. And I think he has to be given the chance to fight it out. And if it gets to the point where it's not mathematically possible to get top 4 anymore, then he should probably be sacked. On the other point, I'm also not against if Sir Jim and his people come in and they have a legit plan of how to move forward and start a new chapter in this club on the footballing side, and they decide that he does not fit that, I'm okay if they sack him at this point, because you would have to go with the new plan and the new idea. And he unfortunately, Eric Ten Hag, was hired by what would be under the old plan and the old sporting regime. And therefore, to start new, to start fresh, and to start proper, if they deem that he does not fit and they wanted to remove him, I would have to back it at this point right now, because if there was trust in the club, if there was trust in the people running this club, if we didn't have the record of being run so crap and making poor decisions and making poor signings and failing for the past 10 years, then I could maybe get behind sacking him based on results and mistakes he's made. But that's none of that at this club. And I cannot 100% say we need to fire him, and the club will take care of it and we'll be fine. Like things will get better. I don't trust anybody at the club right now. I don't trust any of them. I mean, we don't even have a fucking CEO. Who's running the club? The Glazers don't run the club. They just sign off on shit. Day-to-day operations. Who's running the club right now? Nobody even knows. There might not even be anybody. There might be somebody totally. I mean, you would argue Richard Arnold was not fit enough. There might be somebody totally not fit enough right now running in. Who knows? Because they don't talk to us. They don't tell us anything. I see quotes every now and then from other managers, not managers, like CEOs and sporting directors and from other clubs, and they come out and they speak on transfers, signing players, if players are going to stay. If things go bad, they do come out and they put out a message to the fans, and then they give them some type of an idea of the direction they're looking to go in. And we get none of that. They totally just disregard us. And that is a sign of people that just don't give a fuck. And unfortunately, that seems to be a theme that runs through the club, because a lot of people can argue that the players don't care enough, or a lot of the players don't care enough, and probably not Ten Hag's coaching staff, but maybe some of the coaches in the background scene, maybe they don't care enough either. So, but it's not good for us either. See, I'm having mixed feelings here, because not being in Europe has hurt us financially, and we're already struggling financially. We're in a financial mess. I don't know how we're gonna go forward in terms of signing new players. Staying within financial fair play. I think it just made the situation a lot worse. That might have taken the January transfer budget away completely. There was Ten Hag said he doesn't think that they were going to sign anything, and then there was Fabrizio Romano said that they have been discussing about signing players in January. But we lost that money. I don't know the exact financials, but they definitely have to make a decision on if you're going to get some investment for this guy and you're still going to back him and there's no plans to sack him. Because if you're investing and you're going to buy more players for him and you sack him like 3 months down the line, it's just another fucking mistake. But do they make some type of an investment in January to try and get Champions League football, because we're out of Europe? And if we don't make Champions League, that's a double hit in money, and I don't think the club can afford it. I think it will put us in a very, very, very bad situation, one that we have probably never seen at Manchester United for maybe a very, very. I mean, I personally have never seen it. Some of the old timers maybe might have lived through some period like that, but at least we would, the club wouldn't have seen this in a very, very long time. And it's a difficult decision. And again, I don't trust them because they are bad at making these decisions. And I think they need to stop dicking around. And I think they need to, if we're going to start moving forward, get Sir Jim in and let him start doing what he needs to start doing. Because at this point, I wanted a full sale. We're not going to get a full sale. There's nothing I can do about it. So the only option, the only hope I have is that this guy knows and cares more than the Glazers. And that's no guarantee that he's going to be successful. It could be an utter shit show under him too. But it's not looking great for us. I mean, we have Liverpool in the weekend. Um, I expect to lose. I've been saying I expect to lose. Um, I'm just trying to pull up the schedule here. Oh, so we have Liverpool. I don't expect to win. I've been saying there's no chance that we win. We're playing Liverpool on Sunday, and then we have to play West Ham. Both games are playing away from home. And our away record is absolutely terrible, so gives us even less of a chance to win. We just got new injuries, Luke Shaw and Maguire, so who knows how long they're going to be out for. Um, we have to play Villa on the 26th of December, Boxing Day, Tuesday. We will be home, but it's Villa. They beat City. They've beaten Arsenal. I don't expect to win that game either. And then we play Nottingham Forest on the 30th of December, away from home again. So it doesn't make it any easier for us because we have a terrible away record. So this is not looking good at all. And he can very well lose his job. I mean, because you're talking about we're out of Europe. We're out of Europe. We play Liverpool. You lose to Liverpool. You lose to West Ham. You lose to Villa. That's 3 losses in a row. You get to that Nottingham Forest game, he might survive those 3 losses. 3 big teams, 3 teams playing better than us. You get to Nottingham Forest away, you don't win that match, I think he goes. I think it would be over. And it also depends on if Sir Jim is even in or not. So it's not looking good for us. It's not looking good. It's going to be a very, very, very tough December period. And I don't know how we're going to get through it. Honestly, it's not looking. Right now. There's no positivity that I can pull from this. Because I don't expect and I don't trust these players to perform like they did against Bayern in terms of being compact, playing as a team, having attacking intent to a certain extent, pressing. Right? I think we did a very good job pressing today. There was a lot of times Bayern kicked the ball out of bounds, especially in the first half. They were definitely under pressure. They definitely felt it. And we made them give the ball away. And if we can do that in every match that we play, I would say we have some type of a chance. But these players, they show you time after time after time. They do it one match, and then it takes another 5 matches for them to do it one more time. And that's just not something sustainable, and it's not good enough at Manchester United. So, the situation is very bad. It's dire. You know, they could talk about their crisis. The problem with the crisis thing is, they just want to go at Ten Hag, but we all know that the real crisis, because we've been crap for 10 years. We all know what the real problem is, and I hate when the media just latches on to the manager like we are a proper run football. Like, if Ten Hag was at Bayern Munich and he did the things that he's doing at United, right? At Bayern Munich, which wouldn't happen because Bayern Munich is run properly, but let's say, for argument's sake, he did. Bayern Munich is a very, 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 probably one of the best run clubs in the entire world. So it would be acceptable to not talk about any other thing and only focus on the manager and call for his head. But everybody and their mom knows, and whoever decides to ignore it is a moron or is an ignorant hater. And these people, I don't respect their opinions, and I don't give a crap about what they have to say because they spew bullshit out of their mouth, and they don't come with any facts, and they don't come with any. There's no knowledge. There's no substance to anything they say. They're just a salty, hating, toxic little baby, basically. Um, that probably took a lot of L's in their life, and they need to get every little tiny win they can, because deep down inside they're a little miserable prick. And they live a sad life. That's pretty much what that comes from. You see it on the internet. You know who I'm talking about. There's people like that all over the place. And nothing will change until we change those people at the top above the manager. So I've kept you here long enough. I'll do a quick player ratings before we go. I have them all here. I'm not going to hold you for much longer. So Onana, 5, 4.5, 5. He didn't do. I mean, we only conceded a goal, so he didn't really do anything wrong. For the goal though, yeah, okay, it was a 1-on-1. I would criticize him only for the fact that from the play you could tell that the ball was going to come through. And he as a ball playing goalkeeper, is a sweeper keeper, right? He's supposed to come out, and he stayed in his net. And I would have liked him to charge at the player, go towards him, put pressure on him, and he didn't. And we conceded. So that's really the only criticism I have for the game. Otherwise, there's nothing else to really criticize him about, other than the fact that he has cost us. By his mistakes, he cost us numerous amount of points in all the previous games, and is a big reason as to why we are not in Europe and we are out of the Champions League. But we're only giving him the rating on today's match. Delo gave a 5. He did all right in moments, but we didn't win. We didn't score, so we need to do more. Maguire gave a 6 for the time he was on the field. They didn't score on us while he was there. And he was playing well. He was solid again. Unfortunate that he's been injured, and I hope he's not out for too long, because I never thought I'd be saying these words again. But we need him. He's been playing really good, and we need him back in. Varane, I think, played very well. I was happy and kind of surprised that he started. Of course, Lindelof wasn't available, and I think it would have been pretty ridiculous for Ten Hag to start Johnny Evans next to Maguire and leave 4 times Champions League winner Rafael Varane on the bench in the Champions League against Bayern Munich. So I was happy he played him. I hope. Well, obviously, I think he's gonna play, right? But if Maguire's fit, I hope he plays Maguire and Varane. He did very good. Luke Shaw, I give him a 5. He only played a half. I think he did all right. Could have done better in some moments, but he did do good in some moments. But again, we needed more from all the players in terms of just trying to make something happen. And he was struggling. I mean, listen, Bayern wingers are very quick, very intelligent, very skillful. And he had a handful, and he was struggling to defend. So that's why he's getting a 5. Amrabat, he gave him a 6. I think he played very well. In terms of He's basically holding down that midfield by himself. So I think he gets a 6, average. But out of the rest of the team, that's going to be considered good. Scott McTominay, 3. Needs to go back to the bench. I think Kobe Manu can do 2 times the job he does. I think he could do it 2 times better than him. And I know he's a kid, but we've seen kids get starting spots. If you're good enough, you're good enough. And I think he's good enough. And I think he should play at least 2-3 games in a row and see what the kid does. I mean, if he starts playing fantastic, you keep playing that kid. We've seen it with young players. We've seen Garnacho, the way he carries himself, the way he handles himself. Very, very mature for his age. And that's why sometimes age is really just a number, because it doesn't matter. It's more on personality, more on mentality, right? Bruno Fernandez, I gave him a 5, maybe even a 4. Captain didn't do enough. Anthony, I gave a 6. Oh no, I'm sorry. I gave him a 5. He did all right moments, like everybody else. Other moments, not good enough. I did respect, as always, the hustle, the fight that he has, and you see that's why Ten Hag does like him. He is a fighter. He is a soldier. Ability wise, still needs loads of improvement. Definitely, not worth the 80 million that the club overspent on him. But that's a different story for another day. But yeah, he gets a 5, a little bit below average. Garnacho, 5, same thing. Did good in moments. Not good enough though. We needed a goal. We needed to win. We got none of that. And he did good in moments and not so good in other moments. Physicality was a big issue. Bayern players are way more physically fit than us. They have strong players. And we really lack that, and you could see it in the game. Rasmus, I gave him a 5. Some people probably give him lower, but I give him a 5 because our team doesn't know how to give the ball to our damn striker. And he's relying on like a long ball over the top, fighting off like 2 center backs with no options because he's by himself. It's ridiculous. They make the wrong decisions at times. They give the ball to other people when you need to feed your striker. Especially in the box. I mean, there was that one cross from, I don't know if it was Sane or whatever, but he hit an early cross, and I don't know how the hell Bayern didn't score from it. He miskicked it right in front of the net. But Rasmus Højlund was probably looking at that and was like, I'll give up half my salary right now for somebody to send me one of those balls, because he literally hasn't gotten one of those since he's joined us. And what is this kid supposed to do? He's not even supposed to be our main striker. We were supposed to get him and a 26, 27, 28-year-old striker, and he was supposed to learn off him, and he's become our main striker, and then they can't even give him a ball. They can't even give him half a chance, like 90% of the games. Johnny Evans, I give him a 6. Thought he did well when he came on. And he only played a half, and I don't think he really did anything wrong. Wan-Bissaka, 6, played a half, came on for sure. Don't think he did much wrong. There wasn't really anything to do. Palestri, 6, because same thing. I mean, Palestri only played like 10 minutes, 15 minutes or something. Hannibal, 6, only played 10, 15 minutes. And Manu, 6, only played 10, 15 minutes. And Ten Hag, he gets a 4 for today, because again, not happy with the Scott McTominay thing. And we needed to score goals, and I wasn't happy that I felt like we could have done more to try to score and win that game. And we just didn't. And as a manager, you need to get your players to at least do that much. And he didn't. Um, uh, and you could even argue some of the subs. He put on kids, put him on late, but it just wasn't happening today. So, and we lost the match. So, man of the match, I guess, is going to be Rafael Varane because I think he played the best out of the whole team. And that's it for today, guys. We will catch you in the next one. Liverpool on Sunday. Probably gonna lose. Um, we'll definitely bring you a reaction to the match when it's over. Either on the Sunday or we will do it on Monday the following morning. Um, Thank you everybody for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Especially with the likes, hit the like button, please. It gets us into the algorithm. It helps the channel. Until then, we'll see you next time. If anything breaks, anything major happens, some type of a Sir Jim announcement or whatever, we will definitely be there. Until then, have a good evening, good night, good morning, wherever you're watching. And we will definitely be bringing you another one. So stay tuned. Thank you guys. See you later.